I'm planning on buying a used car and want to follow the 23/8 rule, which is great. However, I also want to get an electric vehicle. Can I bake the cost saving effects from an electric vehicle into the 23/8 rule? What do you think?
Oh, man. I mean, what's interesting is that Tesla already does this on their website. And I'm always like, that's not really what it costs. Yep. I mean, because they put in there all these anticipated fuel savings and so forth. And I guess, I mean, there's some truth to that. There's definitely efficiencies from it. I mean, I'll tell you another thing Tesla is doing, and we don't get, is I saw, now I have not looked into the details. I just saw the headline that came through my email inbox, but they were talking about doing a Model 3 for $250 a month. I was like, can you really get I don't know if that's like, you get to drive 5 miles a year, but it was,
is that to own
it was at
like
least
a lease?
from a headline, it was a clickable title.
Was it a lease
tell you
or
that.
to own
It was a
for,
lease.
Okay,
it was a
so
lease
you can lease it for $250.
I think it's, and another thing I'll tell you is I've been driving electric cars since 2018, is I love my electric car, but there is something about whenever we do road trips and stuff, if it's beyond a 2 to 3 hour road trip, I like my wife's car. You know, so that's what I would put it, but on day-to-day driving, I think especially if you have a charger at your house or facility, from a convenience standpoint, electric is better because you don't have to go to gas stations. It's really cool. But on road trips, that benefit actually turns into a negative because you need more gas stations.
All right, you ready for this hot take, Dan? You said your question was, can I bake the saving effects from an EV into the 23/8 rule? This may surprise you. I'm going to say absolutely yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely yes.
What?
Look at you.
You ready for this? All right, so when it comes time to buy that EV, when it comes time to do that, this is what I want you to do. When you go find that car, I want you to put 20% down on the car. That's the 20 part. I don't want you to finance the EV for any longer than 3 years, 36 months, right? That's going to be the 3 part. And then when you look at the total cost that the EV is going to cost you, cannot exceed 8% of your monthly gross income. So when you go to buy that EV, if you put 20% down, you do not finance it for any more than 36 months, and it does not exceed 8% of your monthly gross income, I say that you can go out and buy the EV. What say you, Brian?
I mean, it was interesting. I had a rental car this last weekend.
Nothing, Ruby's like nothing changed,
What kind of mental gymnastics did you just do?
It's still
but you're saying,
but
if your fuel cost was $100 a month, you would let that be an offset.
No. I'm saying the total cost, just like if you were to go out and buy any sort of ICE.
He just did.
Because it's the Jedi mind trick.
Hey, I want to be very clear. Fuel costs don't factor in.
Heads I win, tells you lose.
Hey, fuel costs doesn't factor in on normal 23/8, right?
Let me summarize what Bo is saying. Follow 23/8.
Follow 23/8, right? Like if you want to buy an EV and you want to calculate in the cost of ownership for sure, but like fuel costs and ancillary stuff like that, it should factor into the equation, but that's not a 23/8 effect. The 23/8 is 20% down, 3 years financing, does not need to exceed more than 8% of your monthly gross income.
So you're saying you could factor it into like, oh, this may be a good cost savings to my other lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But not for buying the actual vehicle.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
It
That's
does not
a good way
allow
to say it.
you, the being an EV versus not EV, does not allow you to buy a more expensive car or get into something else without running afoul of 23/8. 23/8 exists no matter what kind of car you're buying, electric, internal combustion, new or used.
And just to kind of make this thing a little spicier, because forever we even did a show, we always called Tesla a premium type brand, but do you consider the 3 and Y now to be
yes, I do.
reasonable?
I do. I consider them to still be premium, but again, I would say do the numbers because it's very much going to be dependent on where you are in your financial journey. There are some folks who might.
So you still think, even if you're buying like a Model 3 or a Y, that you should pay for it in cash in 12 months?
Luxury vehicles should be cash. That's part of the
I
rule.
still consider Tesla
I've changed on that.
we know you've changed on that.
I think 3s and Ys now can be very productive, just like a minivan or something else. I mean, that's my take on
3s
that.
or Ys, just like minivans. You heard it here first.
They're just as the same utility.
Just like minivans. I'm not.
No, my car is essentially a fast minivan. I've made that joke for years. My car is a minivan. If you look at what...
Have you ever seen a minivan?
Hey, I'm going to have my wife come to the office today. I'm just going to let you take the old Odyssey around for a spin.
Have you ever driven
like,
3 kids in one vehicle before?
This feels like my Tesla.
The only thing my car doesn't have is the sliding door.
It is true. It does not have
It
a
doesn't
sliding
have that.
door.
That's true.